Hi guys, so we're going to do a little bit of a review of what we're going to be doing and needing for the assignment that we're going to be doing in class. I'm going to go over all the materials that you're going to need. Everything's going to be provided for you in class, so this is just a quick overview. First of all, we're going to be doing our assignment on a 6 by 6 inches sheet of Bristol paper, which you guys are familiar with. So you guys are going to be getting a sheet. Preferably you're going to share with a partner and just cut out your squares from that one sheet so we save some material. You're going to need a ruler, and we have these neat triangles in class 2. You can use them for straight edges, but what I want you to see is that it has different size circles on the rulers themselves that you could also use for your assignment. We all know that the overall assignment is making an abstract piece where you're going to be using straight lines, geometric, and organic shapes, so the circles could come in handy. You're going to need your cutting mat for cutting paper, a pencil, an X-Acto knife, and some extra sharp blades, which I will have in class for you. We're also going to need to have handy our small precision cut scissors, some tape, our spray mount that we're going to use, and I'll have gloves in class for you to use because when we're spraying you're probably going to get some on your hands, and if you don't have gloves on you're going to get the sticky stuff everywhere. For the overall assignment you're going to be using construction paper. Now for this demo I'm going to be using your traditional construction paper. It's very pliable, but in class I'm also going to have available colored papers that are the same consistency and thickness of the Bristol paper, so they're a little bit sturdier depending on what you want to use, depending on your designs that you're doing. So what I want to show you guys is a few cutting techniques because none of you has ever really cut with an X-Acto knife before. So I'm just going to go over how to properly use them. And I have some of the construction paper that I would be using for my piece here. And what I want you to take notice in the X-Acto knife is this portion right here. The reason why I say that we're going to have extra blades is perhaps some of the blades are not going to be so sharp, and you'll notice when you make a sample cut, if it doesn't cut smoothly, what you would do is you would unscrew the top, and this is going to make the blade come out. You would pick out a new blade, slip it in, and tighten it back up. And that would be replacing your blade to a fresh one. Now, keep in mind when you take the old one off, it's still sharp enough to cause damage in the trash can. So this is why we have the masking tape. What you would do is take tape, wrap it all around the blade so that it does not cut anyone should they stick their hands in the trash can or cut through the trash bag itself. As far as cutting goes, we're going to be using rulers to draw straight lines, draw different angles that you want to cut for your piece. Use the rulers. Take advantage of the straight hard edge of the rulers to help you cut straight lines. When you're cutting with the X-Acto knife, what you want to do is hold it at a 45-degree angle. Do not hold it straight up and down, and don't hold it all the way flat like this. And I'll show you what happens. So if I hold it straight up and down like this, 90 degrees, when I cut, if you can see, it's not very clean. It ripped the paper. And we don't want that. We want clean cut lines in your project. Let's see what happens if I cut all the way flat. A lot cleaner. However, you can tell that it did not stay straight on the line. It went off just a little bit. So it's not perfectly straight. when you go ahead and cut at a 45-degree angle, you're gonna get a clean line. This is what you want for your assignment. So remember, 45 degrees, not 90, not straight flat. Give the 45 degrees. One tip for cutting the Bristol paper when you are cutting your 6x6 inch base, this paper is a lot thicker than the construction paper. Do not try to push down really hard and force your way through the paper. It doesn't have to be that difficult. I don't want you to hurt yourself, cramp up your hands or anything, because you're going to do a lot of cutting. So what you do is carefully, just with a little bit of pressure, go over the same spot a few times, and eventually it'll cut through perfectly with a clean line. And then you're not cramping up your fingers, because we all know you're going to be cutting a lot of lines, a lot of organic shapes. One more thing I want to go over with you guys is how to cut in circle shapes or more organic shapes other than straight lines. So as you can imagine, this might be a little bit difficult to do with an X-Acto knife, which is good for straight edges. This is where you are going to bring in your precision cut scissors. And what you want to do is, instead of trying to move your scissors around, you're going to want to spin your paper around. And your scissors is going to stay stationary. And what you're doing is just carefully moving the paper around slowly as you cut down with the scissors. If you try and move your scissors around, you're probably going to get a lot of straight edges instead of a curved line. So a quick review of what we've gone over so far. 45-degree angle when you're cutting with an X-Acto knife. Not 90, not straight flat. You want 45-degree angles. When you're cutting Bristol paper, or any of the colored cardstock that we have, if you choose to use that. Slow strokes. Do not apply a lot of pressure. A little bit of pressure and you go over the same line a few times, it'll cut straight through without you having to put in too much pressure on that. We are going to be having two kinds of adhesives available. You guys have used this stuff before. This is the binder that we used when we made our books. It's the neutral pH adhesive. This stuff, as we know, you put on with a paintbrush, and it dries fairly quickly, so you don't have a lot of time to move your pieces around. You have to know exactly where you want everything laid out. Now with the spray adhesive, the reason why I have the gloves is because whichever hand you're going to be holding your paper with, you want to put a glove on. And you want to spray the piece that you are gluing down. You do not want to spray, for example, don't spray the Bristol paper. Spray the piece of construction paper that you're going to put down on the Bristol paper. So I'm going to cut a little bit of a triangle piece here really quick, so you guys can get an idea of how this is done. Make sure you shake it up really good. When you're gonna spray, we have our booths that we've made in class. So you're gonna go into a booth. Don't do what I'm doing right now. You're gonna lightly just spray it just 3 times. You don't need a lot of this stuff. Spray it and rub it down. Be careful with your hand that you use to spray, because you're gonna have the spray on there, the sticky stuff. If you've been touching other things, for example, if you have graphite on your hands, you're gonna get that on your white Bristol paper if you touch it. So be very careful when you're smoothing it down not to touch with any dirty, sticky parts of your fingers, okay? Use the opposite hand that's perfectly clean to lay it down. Cut any excess off. And that's kind of the start of what you're going to be making. So all of this is just a quick review. I have a quiz up on the Google Classroom page that I want you guys to take and review. Just going to make sure that you captured everything that we just went through in this video. And hopefully next class we can just jump right into the project.